Star Citizen is the biggest budgeted space sim ever conceived. The devs have planned more features and a level of detail that we've never seen before in an open world game. It's not just the money and the art that has people excited for the title though. There's way more to it than that. My name's CaptainShack, and this video is all about what makes Star Citizen different from a traditional AAA game. Let's get to it. First off, let's talk about what Star Citizen is. It's really two games in one. The first one is releasing later this year, possibly, called Squadron 42. A cinematic dogfighting experience in the vein of Starlancer or Freelancer. It's gonna have full motion capture, cooperative play, and a rich story written by industry vets. The second part of Star Citizen is the persistent universe, which for all intents and purposes is much like an MMO, but without all the levels to grind. The biggest difference that Star Citizen has going for it is the development perspective, at least in my opinion. Let's look at Battlefield 4 for the example of our traditional AAA title. The maps are detailed, the gameplay is fun and engaging, and the tech behind it is pretty damn impressive. But, other than just shooting the other team, you really don't care why you're fighting. Outside of the battle you're currently in, there is no character or world that you're affecting. No reason or motivation, nothing that you own. And the primary motivation of the player base is to learn how to maximize kill-death ratios and push to victory as quickly and effectively as possible. There is no sense of a world outside of combat, no feeling of a greater story, and your place in it is predefined. The world is static. Star Citizen is taking a much different approach. They're building more than a one and done onto the next one game. They're establishing a carefully crafted fictional universe, much like a good sci-fi novel or a television show. By grounding it in its own reality, building the world through the exploration of its history using periodic lore releases, its people, again using history, its technology, which has its own history and fantastic commercials that go along with it, and then its economy, which we'll talk about later in the video. They've raised the idea that this world is a place that you want to visit. The universe of Firefly or Battlestar Galactica. I don't want to just jump in and blow stuff up. I want to play as Malcolm Reynolds. I want to play as Han Solo or Boba Fett. Characters that are firmly invested and embedded into the universe that they've been designed in. More interestingly, designed by me. When I hear about pirates, I don't want to think about kill-death ratios. I want to think about my cargo. I want to build a character that's actually part of the world, and not a character that just rocks the best weapon because DPS reasons. Let's take a look at the game design concepts that support this immersive style of play that Star Citizen developers are using. A great example of this is something that we take for granted in every game that has an inventory: cargo. In a traditional game, your inventory is regulated to little more than a text box with icons representing what's inside its container. 99% of the time, the container itself isn't even rendered in the environment. How often do you even see the pack you're using when you're playing an RPG? Take for example EVE Online, or every RPG ever. Your cargo bay or backpack is normally a simple UI box with two numbers. The amount of stuff that's in the box, and the amount total that you can hold in the box. In EVE Online, this number can be expanded using modules, allowing you to carry more. Note though that the dimension of the ship doesn't actually change, so there's some random magic lore reason you're able to compress the volume of your cargo you're toting around. It's kind of weird. Star Citizen, on the other hand though, is actually rendering out the cargo. It takes up physical space aboard your ship and in the universe. It's been mentioned you'll be able to activate a gravity lift to load and unload the individual crates. How you pack them in may affect how many you can carry or how much you can carry. But this means more than just, hey, I can see my stuff. It actually affects gameplay on every level. If your ship's destroyed or badly damaged, surviving crates could be salvaged by other players. Pirates won't just be killing your ship and looting its corpse through an inventory screen, drag, drop, done. They'll have to board the ship and move that cargo. Meaning, picking what you grab in the process of toting it back to your ship before the crew can mount a defense, or maybe someone responds to their distress call, will actually be a worry for a pirate. Marines defending a ship that's under assault may want to secure the cargo area as a primary objective, so the attackers can't jet it into space and scoop it up. Another example, the Reclaimer is a salvage ship with the tagline, "Travel the verse in search of riches and secrets." It's being equipped with tractor beams, floodlights, scanners, a manned cutter for EVA rescue operations. All this to find and recover cargo. Be it twisted metal salvage or boxes of stuff. I bet you can come up with half a dozen scenarios that revolve around just the idea of cargo being a real thing in the universe. all my years of being a smuggler in Star Wars Galaxies, and I never once smuggled a thing. Just a little food for thought. Speaking of this immersive design, hostile environments in space. Now, space is, all by itself, a hostile environment that can kill you 6 ways to Sunday. So why is it that just about every single game set in the big black open has to cram combat down your throat to raise tension and make you feel like the world is out to get you? EVE is a great example of this. Other players and missions and maybe asteroid spawn are the only real threat out there. You're never going to have a hull breach, you're never going to have a systems failure that could kill you. Check out this example that comes to mind when I think about salvaging cargo.
Girl, strapped in nice and tight now. Tighter than your mama leg. That's a good one, man. Locked in and cruising.
What you got for me out there, Joey Ray?
We got terror for sure. I don't know about the rest. We got a big old buttload of floating debris out here. We hit pay dirt this time for sure.
Yeah, this is a video from StarCraft, the original intro video. Space itself should always be the biggest threat. On top of that, just trying to survive, make a buck, and keep flying should always be a motivator for pilots. Your ship in Star Citizen, much like these poor bastards' salvage ship from the StarCraft video here, will start to break down over time. It'll even start showing its age, rusting and getting scratched up. And on top of that, other players could drop in to help or harm you at any time when you're out in the less than lawful areas of space. Minding your surroundings, taking risks, should be more important than setting up your ship's build just right so you maximize DPS and tankiness. And that's the way Star Citizen is pushing its development. With a focus on micro events, it's the idea that running low on fuel and having a simple systems malfunction on a trade run can be more exciting than being the big damn hero in a giant fleet combat mission in most other space games. This is a big shift in design for most games. Systems like the Death System, the Moby-Glass, landing on planets, social areas like bars, actually being able to smuggle stuff, first-person combat, are all here for one purpose. It's not only here to tell a story, but to let us create our own stories. This is what makes Star Citizen development different than most. Keep in mind, guys, this game is still in development and we don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think this is the core reason why some people, like myself, are very excited for the title. What makes it different than most games that have been developed like this? What makes this game unique? Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, there are tons more Star Citizen videos that I've developed here on the main menu. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.